We're back with another episode of Solomon's Gold series. Yes, this is gonna hit the nail on the head. Do the British, and they are really the only ones attempting such, let's be clear, actually prove that the Philippines is not Ophir? Well, where's that case? It doesn't exist. They just ignore it. That's all. Did they prove that Magellan did not find Ophir? Well, of course not. They just ignore it. Do they prove that Columbus's research was wrong? Well, of course not, because once again, they don't even touch it. They just ignore it. Well, the problem for them is they never even address these finds, period. They just ignore the Philippines, the actual Ophir, as Ophir, and they ignore the Portuguese and Spanish finds because they are caught, and we'll see in this video, wishing to commit propaganda, of course. Now, we'll show you and expose this now. British historic fraud, literally and provably, on this topic of Ophir. Ancient geography confused, which is their tactic. Understand that. This is what they set out to do. By the chaos of modern namings in complete fraud. I think Ophir's over there. No, it's over there. No, it's over there. It's over there. It's over there. Yeah, right. What do you say to someone that acts that way? Well, you dismiss them immediately, right? So let's dismiss the British because this is ridiculous. This is not scholarly. This is not academic. It's utterly stupid. That's all that you could call it because it's what it is. Now, places never known as Ophir, even in Claim, are now named Ophir. Did you know that? Well, why? Well, because the British principally, on this topic, have proven to be liars. Now, that's what they set out to be, propagandists. And no surprise, because the paradigm of the British Museum, especially the great historic British Museum, well, they brought us the greatest fraud in modern science called Piltdown Man. Look it up. Check it out. It's fascinating to see what they tried to do there. They claim they had the missing link, and they got caught as liars and frauds, which they are. See, this is something very well established even in recent history. Now, let's stop allowing this country, the one that perpetrates frauds and propaganda, lousily, really, who once conquered 25% of the world. I mean, you don't get more evil than that, let's be clear. To stop handcuffing ancient history. It's disgusting and it's despicable. That's why we use very strong language toward them. And get out of the way. How on earth modern academia, and it does, and stupid scholarship, and it does, tolerate these frauds is beyond us. We will not. And we've proven them so, but this video will really bring it home. Here we go. Now, just look at all these places. This, you want to talk about ridiculous. Looking up on geotarget.com, and there are other such sites. You can go look them up, and perhaps this isn't even all that's out there, but there were 15 places on Earth that are currently named Ophir. Did you know that? It's only one place in the Bible. In fact, there's only one guy named Ophir in the entire Bible who only migrated to one place. That's it. There's nothing else. So what does that tell you? Well, we'll tell you. These are all frauds. Not one of them is Ophir, not the ancient Ophir. You can see them on this mapping, and what do these places all have in common, though? This is the common thread. This is important. Well, that exposes the whole thing, in fact. 11 are in America. Well, who discovered that land? Who founded that land? 2 are in South Africa. Wait a minute. Who conquered that? 1 in New Zealand and 1 in Australia. Oh, wait. Which were once part of what? Well, all the same. And these places largely all named during that period of an empire. When was that? Well, not in the days of King Solomon, but thousands of years later. These are all fraud. Oh, would you look at that, for all of these were once part of and named by the British Empire and their paradigm. To the left is our mapping of the British Empire at its peak, indicated in red, and it's accurate, but you can find plenty of others out there. Look it up for yourself if you wish. We do so overlaying it onto Noah's mapping of the earth, which is the reason we do it this way. The oldest, fairly complete map of the world in all of history. And modern academia, I can't hear you. Oh, there's some, oh, no, I can't hear you, I can't hear you, right? Because that's all they can say. It's it's completely illiterate for modern academia to have not already mapped this book of Jubilees. Why are we the first to do so? Because it appears we are. That's ridiculous. Now, this is one of the better maps. In fact, it's better than the ones thousands of years later. In fact, it has more detail and it's far better described. But of course, Noah was far smarter than the idiot occultist who created mapping directions. You got to be kidding. Somehow, it appears we're the first to read Noah's directions in the book of Jubilees and actually map them. Why, scholars, haven't you done that? It's at least history, if nothing else. It's ridiculous that you haven't. That's the reality. And also, the first, it seems, to even map Enoch's map of portions of the world in his journey, especially to the Garden of Eden. And both lead to the Philippines. That's where it's located in both cases. Now, you can see the territories Noah divided three ways to Shem, basically Asia, but not all of what we call Asia today. Watch Answers in Jubilees, parts 2 through 4, where we explain that turn by turn by turn. Try to debate that on this video. Be muted. Period. No debate in ignorance. We're done with that. Now, Japheth got Europe, North America in part, and the north, really, the cold lands, and Ham, the hot lands, the southern hemisphere, essentially. Oh, wait a minute. Every single one of these places, named Ophir, is in the British Empire, named by them and their paradigm. Now, how stupid, really. They don't even hide it. This is as inept as anything can be. None of these are Ophir, nor are they cases for it. Ridiculous. None fit Scripture. None fit the descriptions. We've obliterated every one at this point in this series. Go watch it. If you want to debate, go back and try to debate on something where we actually prove that. We're not doing that in this video. We don't need to. But where does this mindset of the British originate? Oh, this is good. It turns out it is documented historical fact that the British began paying for propaganda, specifically regarding this topic of Ophir and ancient geography generally, which it royally screws up, and British scholars are among the most inept in the world on the topic of ancient geography. I mean, lousy, and most Bible scholars are as well, because they really literally come from the same paradigm. Well, this is on purpose, understand that. See, in 1622, Samuel Purchas was paid by the British East India Company. Now, many affiliate that with the Rothschilds, but no matter, a British company, nonetheless, that has its own standing armies and navies, even. A power within a power, no doubt. They paid £100, a fortune in that age in 1622. Wow. To Samuel Purchas to commit propaganda, which is what his book represents, because it ignores all the modern data of that age, walking history back over 1,000 years in complete stupidity. There's no other word for it. That's a very appropriate word there. All of Magellan's finds, the Spanish, the Portuguese, ignored. All the maps with such, ignored. Even Columbus in this regard, ignored. Amazing. I mean, the guy wasn't an explorer, as Magellan and Columbus were, by the way. Of course, Magellan actually went to Ophir and found it physically, having already been to that area for the Portuguese prior, so he already knew exactly where it was, and he landed exactly where he wanted to land. We've covered that. But no, this guy, Samuel Purchas, well, he never even left England. He didn't even hardly leave his town. He didn't go far beyond it, and he admits it in writing. Thus, this isn't even an explorer of England, whether alone of the world. He knows nothing. So who are the idiots then who place anything he says above the actual explorers who found Ophir and documented? If you haven't watched this series, do so. Don't even think about debating again on this video in ignorance. Without doing so, you will be muted. No debate in ignorance. Our channel, our rules. This, though, is illiterate. And here's a quick brief as to why. Let's get to it. First, Ophir, Sheba, and Tarshish all are isles. That's what the ancient references say, especially the origin of all three, which is the Bible. Yes, history abounds in that book. Even in Greek, as Chryse and Argyre, those are still isles in every reference out there of valid history. Only Ptolemy changed it, and he changed it, get that. He changed history to fit his own paradigm, which is, the epitome of ignorance, really, to a peninsula. He says it was a golden peninsula because he couldn't see an island where he thought it might be, because he saw Burma. And yes, that's as far as he could see was Burma. That's all he knew about. That's all he ever indicated was that far. So the peninsula in Burma is it, and that's not the Golden Peninsula, but it's the last thing he could see. So he didn't even know about tens of thousands of islands in the Far East. And for the British especially, and they do, to claim that he's the expert, that we should all follow as far as ancient maps, that's the dumbest thing we've ever seen. The British love to quote his map, which is completely missing the Far East because, well, so is their entire paradigm. Duh. All of the Pacific, tens of thousands of islands. It ends at Burma. And then it has, Ptolemy's map has the Indian Ocean enclosed. It stops, it ends. No, it doesn't. Only the largest ocean in the world is missed there. That's all. It's pretty dumb. No, not the Malay Peninsula, by the way, but Burma. The Malay Peninsula is not indicated in Ptolemy's writings at all. He doesn't go that far. We've covered that in the preceding videos especially. Watch them. See, David associated Tarshish, the Isles, which is Ophir, Sheba, and Seba or Saba, simply a territory of Sheba in definition. We've covered as one region because it is one region. All of these are in the same area. The Isles of Ophir are associated with Tarshish in Isaiah, as well as Jeremiah and Ezekiel. This is no mystery, and these are isles, period. And we've covered this in great detail already. So continental Americas, they aren't islands, are they? These are all in the interior. Not one is an island, so don't even try it. Africa, that's not an island. Not isles. Failure. All. Oh, don't worry, they fail at many more criteria than that. Read our book, The Search for King Solomon's Treasure, free in ebook at ophirinstitute.com, and watch Solomon's Gold series. The Philippines is really, truly the only match for this in all of history, no doubting. Ophir was in Shem's territory, as it must be. He must live there, because he was from Shem. He wasn't from Ham, he wasn't from Japheth, and he cannot live in their areas. There you go. Jubilees records Noah's mapping of the world, and wouldn't you know, every one of these is utterly stupid. All the American references recently named Ophir, well, they're fraud. They're in Japheth's territory, all. Africa's in Ham's, every inch of it, don't worry, all of it. None of it ever belonged to Israel. That's ridiculous. Those that say that can't even read Scripture. Abraham went south to Egypt from Canaan or Israel. He then headed north to go back to Israel, and never, ever, ever, ever in any mapping of the world that is credible is Israel in Africa. That is utterly ridiculous. Now, And look at that. The last two that were left there, well, they are islands. I mean, Australia is actually a continent, but we'll give them an island, as that criteria. But Australia and New Zealand both are in Ham's territory. In the southern hemisphere, thus, both ridiculous assertions always have been, and nor do they either even have a claim of being Ophir. Let's be clear. None of these places have ancient records of gold rushes, period. Done. The end. There's really nothing to discuss about these. The Philippines does. South Africa, in fact, has a lot of gold indeed. It's number 1 on Earth, with the Philippines as number 2 in untapped gold reserves, by the way, and it's 1/4 the size of South Africa. Understand that. But they didn't even discover gold panning until 1000 AD, that's 2,000 years after King Solomon, and didn't have their gold rush until about 100 years ago. So you got to be kidding to say that's the ancient Ophir. That's ridiculous, utter nonsense. That is an illiterate claim. It's not something that ever connects to anything. It's in the wrong direction. It's also in Ham's territory. And then you have America? What a joke. Forget about it. There's nothing to such claims. It's in Japheth's territory. Some of it would be in Ham's territory. None of it is in Shem's. New Zealand's area named Ophir, formerly, by the way, called blacks. No. It's not really a negative name, though who knows whether they meant so in dual symbology, but it was named after a British dude named Black, so okay, whatever. But it seems it wasn't even named until 1863 as Ophir. Are you kidding? 1863, and you try to transpose that back to 1000 AD as some sort of history that doesn't even exist? That's not a claim. It's illiteracy and idiocy and lunacy, really. But why not take back, 4,000 years and say there's a claim of being the original Ophir because, it had a gold rush in 1863. That's stupid. That's not scientific. That's not academic, and it certainly isn't scholarly. It is illiterate. Now, there are others we've covered, by the way, that don't make it on this list because they're not cities, but mountains. In 1801, the British committed complete fraud trying to rename Malaysia's Gunung Ledang. Why? Because they were losing the debate with Spain. See, Spain already won the debate that the Philippines was Ophir and Tarshish, and it's Sheba as well, as we've proven. But this is what they're trying to object to. This is what this is all about. They don't want to lose the debate with Spain. And of course, their power, America, won the war with Spain, still under the British Empire, still under the Holy Roman Empire, by the way, even in America's own documents of supposed independence. But anyway, so in 1801, the British renamed this Gunung Ledang as Mount Ophir. Oh, well, all of a sudden, let's impute all the history that goes with the ancient land of Ophir because, why? Because the British named it? That's stupid. Who's going to do that? No one that has any sense. Basically, the locals even rejected it and still use Gunung Ledang to this day. Even their tourism department does so. Now, that's pretty funny, actually. What a failure that propaganda is, and it deserves the ridicule and it deserves the rebuke that we're giving it, and that's why we are. They tried too to name a mountain Mount Ophir in Indonesia, but again that quickly failed and was outright rejected and never took. So you can see the whole story of the British being losers on this topic is so well documented. This is the behavior of frauds, not academics. And they should be embarrassed, really. They really should, especially the cartographers and those authors who've written books like The Golden Chair Synesis in the Malay Peninsula, which is stupid. I mean, utterly ridiculous. Ptolemy didn't even know what the Malay Peninsula was. He talked about Burma. That's as far as he made it. Now, more so, those attempting to use these claims to somehow then disprove our massive case, which is proven at this point, that's very laughable. None of these are even credible. These are lies. Therefore, they aren't points. This isn't a matter of a debate of point counterpoint, point, counterpoint. We set out to research a topic, and we did. And over 384 pages, we lay that position out. We support it with a 300-page source book. We support it with over 100 videos. And you ain't disproven it. No one will. No one can. No one has. As Ophir is the actual land above the Garden of Eden, which is also, according to Enoch, Noah, and Moses, not us, okay? We're using ancient references here. We have support and documentation for what we say. And, you know, you could always try to go in and say, well, you know, I really think, I wish, you know, if you read that a little differently. Well, whatever. But when you put it all together, there ain't no debating, period. We decided to search for modern places named Eden. So here we go. There are 65 around the world, and, well, not a single one is the actual Garden of Eden, which is within the earth. It's not up here anyway, so none could be. That's just the fact. The closest, though, are those in North Luzon Island, Philippines, and they are very close as it is just south of there in Visayas, within the earth, as we have well proven at this point. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go again. Most of these claims come from where? The British Empire territories. Imagine that. It is no coincidence, my friends. There's even one place called the Garden of Eden. Did you know that's in Illinois? Which fits absolutely no description anywhere at any time of the garden region in any sense whatsoever. Got all that? Was that clear enough? Failure. We've covered those. Even Sheba, let's take a look here. Yes, there was a Sheba from Ham from Cush in Africa, indeed. There was. That's truth. But the problem is, most don't even know there is a second Sheba in Genesis 10, who is the very brother of Ophir, who can't be separated from the story of Solomon's navy going to Ophir to fetch gold. They fetch gold, and the Queen of Sheba heard. From who? From Solomon's navy. It's right there. It's so very obvious. It has to be the Sheba associated with gold, which is not Ethiopia. It has to be the Sheba associated with Ophir, which is not Ethiopia. It's the wrong territory. That's in Ham's. This Sheba is from Shem, brother of Ophir, son of Joktan, where the Queen of Sheba originates, never Africa. Now, in Ethiopia, that claim we've well covered comes from the occult Kebra Nagast, in which that queen has the legs and hoof of a goat. Now, that's bad. No, the precious Queen of Sheba was a Filipina and was no goat lady. That is another claim propped up and propagated by the British in propaganda, including the ridiculous archaeologist who we've covered before went down there and found a temple in archaeology, the oldest of which is 200 A.D. And then she makes the giant leap in the dumbest association ever that, well, that must be the biblical land of the Queen of Sheba because, well, she lived in, 1000 BC, and that's the same as 1200 years later? That's stupid. Now, that's not in any way proven, yet they'll treat it like it is. There's not a single shred of proof in any of it. Not a single item, not a single tie in any sense to the Sheba, the brother of Ophir of the Bible from where the queen came, who could not live in Africa because it's Ham's, not Shem's. It is an occult lie, a claim that has been retracted into the shadows even. For more than 7 years now, nothing. It's crickets. Why? Because it's a lie. They'll never be able to prove it truth because it's not. Period. The end. There are even 2 Havilas in the world today, yet actually there are mountains and areas in the Philippines called Havila. That's just truth. We live there and we know, but the service didn't pick that up, but no matter. Once again, though, America and Australia, are you kidding? More British paradigm claims in ignorance and propaganda. These are lies. Then there's Tarshish, and really this one is not that problematic, as at least Tarshish has a fit with Tyre, or modern Lebanon, as they have a place named such because it was its trading partner at one time, though it was never located there, and a poor name to use in that sense, because certainly anybody seizing on that saying, oh, that's where it was, illiterate. Once again, this area came under British influence in World War I. Imagine that. Whether these are scholars trying to placate the paradigm or just stupid Brits playing along, it really doesn't matter. Dumb is dumb, period. See, Ophir and Tarshish are the same land. They must be. They have the same golden resources and are interchangeable in Scripture. We show some of the many that we use on screen. The ships of Tarshish, which is a place by Ophir in the same region. It's not a wood. That's a ridiculous assertion from scholars who can't read. They've never bothered to read all of the accounts of Tarshish, which is clearly a place of silver, according to the Bible, known as Argyre in Greek, the land of silver. But they go to Ophir as well as Tarshish and Sheba. Solomon built a new navy and port on the Red Sea to do what? To go around Africa to get to Tyre or Lebanon? Oh, by the way, he hires the king of Tyre as well. Talk about stupid. I mean, what an assertion that would be. He would have just traveled up a river that led there from Israel, or just used the Mediterranean. He wouldn't go all the way around Africa and build a brand new port and navy on the Red Sea in order to go, well, up to Tyre. How ridiculous. And you don't think Hiram, king of Tyre, who, by the way, is already recorded in the Bible as bringing supplies down from Tyre to Israel, through a river route especially, it seems, pretty dumb. These are idiotic claims. Equally dumb is the claim about Spain or Britain also fitting as Tarshish, since the King of Spain even hired a British explorer, Sebastian Cabot, and wrote in his contract that he was to go to Ophir and Tarshish, which in the contract is just north of Indonesia and south of Japan. That ain't Spain, and that ain't Britain. I mean, I don't know why scholars can't seem to read history and look these things up, but they're very easy to find. There are 24 places on Earth named Adam. Thought this would be interesting to throw in this video. And only the one in the Philippines actually represents a legitimate claim as being in his land of ancient Avila. Now, we prove that. Watch those videos. Try to debate over there. You won't be able to. But all else fail, period. Of course, evidently, Adam and Eve, well, I guess they separated because there are 4 places named Eve on Earth today that, well, they do not match those of Adam. How about that? Oh, well, these are all modern names, named mostly in fraud by the British Empire and its paradigm, even after it was an empire. Recent times in history, none of these are ancient, not a single one. In terms of being called Ophir, none of these fit anything. These aren't ancient occurrences and are evidence of absolutely nothing. So anybody that comes into this channel and says, oh, but what about Ophir this? What about Ophir that? What about Ophir this? What about Ophir that? Ophir nothing. These are nothing. None were named Ophir. Period. These are useless in determining this ancient land of gold, which we have firmly located at this point. But as for the British Empire, why does it stand so strongly against the Philippines? That's the question. Well, the prophet Ezra nailed it. See, the Philippines will rise in the last days in judgment with the final empires. Well, that would include the British. He defined and broke down Daniel's 4th beast, Ezra did, in 2nd Esdras, as an eagle, and we cover this fully in Answers in 2nd Esdras. He describes over more than 1,000 years into the end times, and it is incredible. This is one of the greatest books of prophecy ever written, and yet most are not really even aware of it. It was in the 1611 King James even, and Yahusha specifically quoted it according to the 1611 King James, who anchors his words directly to 2nd Esdras as fact. We even had a pastor try to argue with that, and what he did is he sent us a screenshot, but he kept cutting off the margin note, so no one could see that 2nd Esdras is right there in the margin note. Now, that is just how ridiculous some will go to. There are 3 final eagle heads that rule in the end. The first is the Great Head, the largest empire in all of history. Now, we know that as the British Empire, which is the very largest, at one time controlling 25% of the entire Earth. Wow. And still the very largest, and will be. Then comes America, and then the one world government will swallow America. Yeah, that head swallows America. Sorry. Watch Will America Disappear. It will blow your mind. It's not all good news, but hey, it is what it is, and you better prepare. But behind the scenes, that's led by religious institutions, basically the Catholic Church and Rabbinic Judaism together, because really they've always operated together behind the scenes, the worst of them all. We'll end on this note, though. Here's an excerpt from our Answers in 2nd Esdras series, which is a must-watch in full, but including Will America Disappear, which is awesome. You've got to see that. But this is from the Great Eagle Head, I think it's part 4 of the series, about the history of Britain, which matches Ezra. We map it out here in about 5 minutes or so. It's quick in that essence, but check this out. Let's follow the rise and fall of the British Empire. We will begin to map this in 1707, where the empire really begins its full ascent, though it really began in 1453. The Acts of Union unite the kingdoms of England and Scotland under one rule, the United Kingdom. By then, the kingdom already has several colonies along the coasts of North America. As the years go by, settlements in North America increase as Britain moves westward. In 1757, the East India Company conquers Bengal, igniting Britain's advance into South Asia. Colonies in North America expand as the British Empire claimed victory over France in the 7 Years' War. Watch for the red as the expansion of Gog is underway. In the year 1783, the United States achieves victory in the American Revolutionary War, gaining independence from Britain, or so we're told. People from all continents begin falling to the empire as Britain achieves worldwide status as a superpower. Watch for the red as it continues to grow all over the world, spreading its seed to the final empire. You are seeing prophecy unfold before your eyes. The Constitution Act of 1867 formally unites all British colonies in Northern America into the Dominion of Canada. Again, watch for the red. Several European powers participate in the scramble for Africa, resulting in a major expansion for the British Empire. By World War I, Britain is established as a multi-continental empire with a population of over 400 million people. Following their victory in World War I, Britain acquires land from the former German colonies in Africa. from the Ottoman Empire, Britain takes control over Palestine, Jordan, Iraq, and Qatar, connecting their land in Africa to Asia. German New Guinea also fell under rulership of Britain, with its mainland territories being mandated under Australia. Following the Irish Revolution, we'll start to see the decline. Ireland is officially granted independence from the United Kingdom. In 1931, the Statute of Westminster is adopted in Canada and South Africa, giving them self-governance over their land. The following year, the Kingdom of Iraq is granted independence from the British Empire. In 1942, midway through World War II, Australia fully applies the Statute of Westminster, gaining self-governance. As a result of World War II, Britain officially receives land from the former Italian colonies of Somalia and Libya. Occupation zones are also set by the Allies, with Britain occupying parts of Germany and Austria. Over time, several colonies begin leaving and declaring independence as colonization starts coming to a close. This, my friends, is the final empire, its big head rise and fall. The occupation zones in Germany are brought together, and West Germany is established in 1949. Decolonization becomes rapid in the mid-20th century, with nations being formed across the entire globe. Watch the red as it's now receding to virtually nothing. There it goes, right before our eyes. Esdras' prophecy comes to life. And then the final nail. On the 1st of July, 1997, the United Kingdom hand over Hong Kong to China was the mark of the end of the British Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, Ezra was accurate with perfection. If you have not reviewed our full position on this topic, we prove the Philippines is Ophir, Sheba, and Tarshish, the ancient lands of gold, which is really one land, one region, and the land above the Garden of Eden, which is also the land of gold according to Genesis 2, and according to Enoch. We use the best of ancient sources, and they have cataloged this since 4000 BC to present. Watch Solomon's Gold series in full. Read our 384-page position, The Search for King Solomon's Treasure, which we find supported by a 300-page free source book that you can download and follow along of all our historic references so you can see the origin we use for yourself. There you go. That's available at ophirinstitute.com, free in ebook, in fact. So we then entrench this fully with the Book of Jubilees, the Torah calendar, with a complete mapping of Noah's division of the earth, the oldest world map in history, and it leads to, well, the Garden of Eden in the Philippines. Then we publish the first book of Enoch, the oldest book in history, which Enoch also maps the route to the Garden of Eden in the Philippines. And there is no debating that. He's very clear. It is northeast of Malaysia at the exit from the Indian Ocean. Duh. Head northeast from there, and that's called the Philippines on every accurate map ever created. This is fully proven, and in 6+ years, no one has touched this position, even a little. Nor will they, because, folks, this is truth. We have over 470 videos on this channel, one for every day of the year plus now. Many just as profound, with some 50 or so in Tagalog for Filipinos, and now 6 in Spanish to start. We also have been setting up subtitles for 20 plus languages for most of our videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Join our email list as YouTube fails to notify often. And we will notify you ourselves at thegodculture.com. Just fill in the pop-up there. We now have alternative platforms for videos on Rumble, Odyssey, and Utreon. And our new podcast is available for all of our videos pretty much as well. All links in the description box, and friend us on Facebook at The God Culture, space original. That is our only Facebook page, only one that we're checking and using. If you prefer an alternative, we now have Parler and Gab, links below. We have 6 books published internationally, being read in over 100 countries. And actually, I correct that. It's now 7. How about that? With our new release, the first book of Bible History Illustrated, Enoch's Animal Dream Visions. We also have now launched Ophir Philippines Coffee Table Book in the U.S., Canada, UK, and many overseas markets on Amazon, and it's available in hardcover or softcover there. Also, this first book of Bible History Illustrated is available only in color. We're not even doing this in black and white. Only in color, and you can get it in color, softcover, or hardcover on Amazon. Coming to the Philippines soon. Not yet. We're not there yet, but we will get there. Additionally, we launched the Book of Jubilees, the Torah calendar, with color maps and interiors, as so many had requested that overseas, rightfully so. We already have that in the Philippines. The Philippine copies have color maps inside already. That too is available on Amazon in hardcover, softcover, both in color or in black and white softcover if you wish. All books, including Solomon's Treasurer, are now free in eBook. We're not going to do an eBook for this one because we have this video series animated, and we're going to release one with all 5 as one video as well. So no need to do an ebook when we'll have the video animation. More coming soon. Thank you for watching. Now always remember, prove all things for yourself. Yah bless to everyone.